Good afternoon. I just experienced sleep paralysis, and I want to describe it while it's fresh in my mind. It's 5:20, 70 degrees, 30 October 25. Wow, I slept well last night, but and people were kind of coming at me sideways today and stuff, and I waited until almost about 2 o'clock to eat my standard 1 pound sandwich, just down into 10 ounces of meat and stuff. And one of the guys pulled up. Anyway, I'll come back to it. And so I'm actually, as you can see, the sun's actually hitting my legs and everything. I'm nice and warm. I was in one of my relatively short, but still to you very long. I remember all of it really at this point, and I may describe it. So I'm still in the dream. I was getting right to. I remember I was stuffing things in my pocket because I'll get to it. I'll come back. And my dreaming mind and my conscious mind begins with maybe a gentle closing of the door, because I'm quite sure he closed the door on his vehicle before coming to me. There's really nobody around. It was around 3 o'clock. This was around 5 o'clock, a little after. And one guy come. He didn't realize that I really can't respond to him. I'm not going to respond to his question. It takes me 15 minutes to carefully masticate and eat and swallow, 16 ounces of meat and bread. It has to be done really properly, so I can't wolf it down. I don't want to wolf it down. I want it to mix it with the digestive enzyme in the saliva, do it right. But when I wake up, I realize that I'm not only paralyzed, that it was at that moment when in sleep and when now I'm back in consciousness, when he first wakes me up, I was just in god-awful pain. Crushing pain. I could barely even rotate one arm, and just he gave me a bottle of water, a bag of food, and I had trouble even reaching up a couple inches. I'm trying to do this with my hand right now to grasp a $20 bill. And he says, "You having an afternoon nap?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm having a bit of a pain problem." And I was just, for several minutes, I just had crushing pain. I was breaking through my natural ability to block out pain while I was in the sleep paralysis mode. When you're in sleep paralysis, people have to do that so they don't fall out of the tree or something like that, or don't fall, But then right then I realized, when I was that process of waking up, I was really beginning to feel how much pain that I'm in. Normally I don't feel it because this beautiful mind screens it out. I've been doing it since I played 6 football games, won 5 of those. No ligaments in my right knee and no drugs, not even aspirin. I've said that so many times. But I'm just in awe of actually the first time I've really been awakened while in both the dreaming and sleep paralysis state. And coming conscious without your brain, really, my brain was controlling the perception of pain wonderfully until that moment I became conscious in just less than a second or so. It only took him a second from the time he closed the door. It took a couple of strides. He was a tall black man, relative. His shoes left a perfect diamond pattern on the. Neatly dressed and was very polite. And, my brain is working right now to. I really couldn't. And then actually, still in the paralysis, I couldn't grasp the water. And I actually had to. That's one thing that maybe helped me is the water slipped down and rolled a few feet away. I had to get up, walk over, and kind of just creakily, barely pick up the water, come back, sit down, and realized I was getting the pain under control with my brain, not drugs. I'm still, oh gosh. But at the exact moment he woke me up, I couldn't move. That was sleep paralysis. You might want to look it up. That's the title of this video. Most people think that you're like these. I was in pretty deep sleep. I was in the pure, full color 3D dreaming. I remember it very well. Maybe I'll take a chance to, because it may be a reflection of what my brain is perceiving subconsciously. Oh, you can see I'm not intoxicated. I haven't been. Actually, I just put in my reorder for pain medication right at 2 o'clock. Fell asleep by 3, slept a couple of hours, was dreaming. It was let me, I don't know if dreaming is important. Freud wasn't entirely, this was a time, because this was an odd dream, and it may have been, a result of today, so many people coming at me. I do want to mention though that the food at the time too, and also just when he woke me up and stuff, and I'm going like, yeah, that food's hot. You can tell he made a special trip, a $20, and I went like, until it was fresh from, and I don't normally eat Macca's, McDonald's, but I had this my brain's ability to control hunger and all that stuff, and also that gave me an indication that 16 ounces had completely cleared my stomach. I was voraciously hungry. I even took some French fries. Yep, I did that. Broke my discipline that I was bragging to Dan Wolf about just 3-4 hours ago on talking to I had to have, and it was cool water when I'm now warm, not hot, not perspiring, full sun and heavily, and gosh, the dry skin, I look like a reptoid when I look like one. That was sleep paralysis, and I'm just making a note of this because I just didn't realize how much pain I'm in. Gosh, my brain, anyway. The dream. It's a we, and during it, actually, they say you never see yourself in your dreams. No, I can see like my arms, and I can see what like I'm wearing, and appears to be, you know, appear to be with others, and we're arriving at a place, and I have to compress the dream now because it's in my head. It's much longer than what I'll tell you. We arrived at this place. It was kind of plain and stuff like that, and I was kind of free to come and go and stuff like that. Important aspect, and oh, I forgot even I even picked up because there are people milling about and stuff like that, and I remember picking up what appeared to be a freshly discarded cigarette butt, and could, even in my sensory perception, you know, I remember saying, and I remember there was some audio. I remember talking to a woman, and I remember actually breaking up the cigarette almost like you would when field stripping a cigarette butt. Give me a look into the PTSD mind here, kind of. And I was going, remember saying or mumbling that it's still warm. He had just, you know, trying to compress a dream that's still in great detail in my head. It's, you know, appeared to occur over, you know, at least over several day period, but and this is one of my brief dreams, and we kind of know about this stuff, and then towards the end, they have some sort of call for a count or something like that, and I noticed people coming out of the building that I arrived in was now kind of more decrepit, and I was discussing that with the woman later. It was kind of even the trees and stuff, they were kind of, and they were it was mostly men, beginning to come outside and learn up, and they were wearing orange jumpsuits, and I go like, am I a prisoner here? Kind of is what and I looked down, and yeah, I was wearing that correctional orange kind of polyester, and I'm like, I don't really remember getting in line before it goes to the next scene. And it's something like a commissary, and they're talking and stuff like that, and that's when I was thinking, like, yeah, I'm hungry, fuck them kind of stuff. And it was like grabbing some like little treats or whatever. There were shells with all little boxes of stuff in it, and just shoved them in my pocket. And there was a woman who came up beside me, and she was too. It was like a co-ed correctional facility, which is kind of a description of this current planet. We're free to come and go, but we're actually all wearing that. I'm beginning to see the Freudian. Yeah, I'm doing some hand movements here. So Freudian. The dream may have been precipitated by today's experiences. While I have this illusion that I'm free to come and go, like in the dream, I'm really still wearing correctional orange polyester. Oh, this is polyester. It was actually really about that point and I remember previous in the dream that I'd chatted with a couple of guys, and I was part of the thing was the guy with the cigarette was I perceived him as not a friendly figure and stuff. That's why I picked up the cigarette butt, because what my mind said was, is that a hand rolled or is that a joint? And I picked it up and busted it open, and I said, "It's tobacco. It's warm. Somebody just dropped it here near me or whatever." It was, And then at the end, it's funny that I'm dreaming about, didn't really feel hungry, but I wanted that food, and yet it happened, and I did just eat it. It was a delicious, warm, and as I'm eating, I'm thinking like, yeah, I was right. Tommy Robinson is an English lion, but he's tiny lion compared, And I even ate it fairly slow, where it took me about, what a tiny little thing it is now. Tommy Robinson was doing one in Israel the other day. That's when I'll go back. I unsubscribed from Tommy Robinson UK. I didn't, because it was a short about him eating. He's really trying to commercialize his. I don't think him eating a McDonald's. He said they said they taste bad, or maybe he was repeating what the Arab population was saying, that Macca's taste bad. And he goes, no, it's like any. Actually, he got the triple meat cheeseburger. This was a double meat, double cheese. With some pickles in it. It was delicious, and the bun's not too thick. It's not there, and I'll be able to handle it because I've been abstaining from frankenfood. I don't think it'll cause any disruption. I can tolerate just a little bit of it, but I can't tolerate eating that shit all day long. Especially not with the other drinks, from the soda from with the burnt carbon ammoniated caramel coloring, and that nasty Starbucks coffee with all the tannic acid and acrylamide and stuff, and the glyphosate. It was relatively almost the vast majority of what I ate was by weight. It was almost what I ate was almost about. Was about 75% beef. That kind of ratio I can handle. Wow, so I've now quite sure that's the first time in my life I've ever had sleep paralysis, and when you come out of it very quickly, you can't really hardly move, and the pain. You get breakthrough pain where your brain is no longer controlling it. It's taken me this long. It's been really from the time that he woke me up to now is at least 20 something minutes, for me to get any kind of strength or flexibility at all. When he really woke me up, I couldn't barely move. I could just barely grasp a $20 bill, and not even tightly. I just had no. Oh shit. So. Wow. The pain was just crushing. It was just every joint in my body and my hands and stuff just. That's what my brain right now is doing. If you've been properly disciplined, if you remember the movie Lords of Discipline, wasn't that Sean Penn? He's like a young, crazy guy dude. Not that, a bug or something. Anyway, it was a phenomenal experience. I wanted to take a few minutes. Turns out to be 20 because I'm not up to full speed mentally. And I'm just glad that I clearly, the man could tell, I'm pretty sure he could tell that I wasn't intoxicated or anything. I was just in deep sleep and went, oh gosh. I have a wonderful brain. For 70 years now, it's been protecting me. But then it comes out, that's what I try to explain in PTSD, is that these physical and psychological traumas of life eventually manifest themselves in myoclonic seizures, mitral valve prolapse, and insomnia that can run 300, my record is 360 days. The federal government says you can't go, they're more than 11 days, like that Gitmo Bay on the detainees, without them dying. That's bullshit. I've done, my wife was witness, 360 days. I know that was hard on her because she was worried about me. It's love, you know. I was okay though, and I was and stuff. Or I was just couldn't sleep, and I didn't get that meth eye, you know, they just like all the eyelids are blood red or nothing. That I did gain weight because I was awake 24 hours a day for 360 days plus. It was just I said 360, that's it, I'm stopping counting. Within a couple, it right at about a year. I'm sorry, I was lucky enough to fall asleep during a real quiet period. And when it was really absolutely quiet, that's when the dream, now the rush hour is finally starting. Even though it's late, it's got to be 5:40 by now. I think that dream had significant meaning, is that subconsciously I'm perceiving myself as to being in some sort of like correctional facility with what appears to be a lot of freedom, but then not. And then there's the food, which I remember like shoving things that like felt like little, you know, just kind of round. My mind's going like, hey, maybe that'll be sweet or something like that. Or I was just getting stuff, and the woman behind me was noticing, but not ratting me out. And it just was. It was kind of well, at first it was kind of okay. It was kind of, you know, light, and then it kind of became more gloomy, and background definition became less fine. And it's hard to describe a dream that, to my perception and my memory, happened over a many days or months period. That's really may have in dream time only occupied a few minutes, but I don't feel like I had a lot of rapid eye movement. My eyes don't feel fatigued, and they're not, you know, actually there's not even much outflow, because this is actually the kind of the bottom of the nyctohumoral cycle, or what you call the circadian, correctly pronounced, thanks, circadian rhythm cycle. But anyway, I'll end this at about 24 minutes here, is that now I know what sleep paralysis is like for at least a person who is in just really intense pain all the time. If at times you find me unpleasant, you might want to wonder why that dog is biting you. Is because I've been run over by the automobile of life. That's a unique new. Yeah, if you're wondering why this dog is biting you while you're trying to help him, you get me? You want something from Starbucks? If you wonder why I'm biting you, it's because I'm in pain, and I've trained myself not to show it. That only strengthens your enemy. And you don't want to feel it. And if you have a good brain, it can screen out every kind of type of physical and psychological trauma, but then eventually you pay for it physically in seizures, heart, mitral valve prolapse, oh gosh, mitral valve prolapse, insomnia, anxiety where your chest tightens, you begin to have short, rapid breathing and stuff like that, and shallow, relatively rapid. You go from like 16 to 20 a minute, and your chest kind of tightens. I feel kind of okay now because my my chemistry is syncing up to my consciousness level, and it's beginning to screen out the pain, but I still till I'm pretty stiff. I'll let you go now, but I wanted to just give you a peek into my first experience of actually experiencing sleep paralysis, to be the title of this video. It was trippy. It really was. I didn't really realize I was in that much pain. It's really bad. I'm okay now. I am. My brain's back in, my consciousness is back into control. I had a hot meal. I'm not hungry. I might have a cup of hot tea, but it was really a phenomenal event. The gentleman he was a gentleman. He wasn't, when he was trying to hand me this stuff, I had trouble even rotating, the two bones in your forearms, and even turning my palms up to kind of cup them and then had trouble even grasping that $20 bill. I don't think I'll ever forget that. Y'all have a good day. I'm out here.